effort by the two entities, meaning academia and industry, will share their resources in an effective and efficient way to attain mutually compatible goals of technological innovation, enhancing global competitiveness, and performing as an engine for economic growth. Equity is using this first hackathon to explore the use of hackathons as a tool to drive discovery of new technologies and or process improvement solutions to real-world problems that are faced by equity. So this will enable equity to create products and offerings that will be beneficial to our customers while allowing the students to satiate their need for creativity in a conducive environment. The calendar of events, like I mentioned, I will tell you how this will happen. So today we're having the kickoff, today being the 17th of February, and these are the activities planned for over the next 4 weeks. After today's kickoff, what will happen is the students who have been selected to participate in the hackathon will undergo training. The training will be run by Microsoft and Equity, and it will include topics like how to use the environments that we shall provide and information on the areas that we want the students to tackle. After the training, the students will then begin building their prototypes in readiness for the first knock-off stage. Those who make it past the first knock-off stage will then move on to the next steps, which will be an evaluation by Equity's team. And after the second knock-off stage, then we'll be able to select some finalists who will have the opportunity to present their solutions to a panel of judges, and after which 3 podium winners shall be announced. What is the benefits to the students to participate in this hackathon? Like I mentioned, there will be 3 podium winners. So the most evident benefit is a cash prize of 600,000 shillings to the winning group, or the winner should one student decide to participate individually, but the winning prize is 600,000 shillings. The first runner-up gets 250,000 shillings, and the second runner-up gets 150,000 shillings. Additionally, all of the podium winners will get more mentorship opportunities with Microsoft for a period of 3 months. And they will get technical cloud certificates and a gift hamper. Everyone who participates in the hackathon will receive and complete training will be able to get a certificate of completion from Microsoft. This is a fantastic badge of honor that you can put in your resume and your CV and also on your LinkedIn profile. So we welcome you all to this hackathon kickoff. And what we shall do now is then we'll move on to the next stage of this event. And in the next stage, what we're going to do is we're going to invite very distinguished speakers from Microsoft, from Mary University of Science and Technology, and from the University of Nairobi. Our first speaker is Kendi Ntwiga. She is the country manager for Microsoft Kenya. And in this role, she's responsible for developing and maintaining effective relationships across the company's subsidiaries and regional sales and marketing departments. Before joining Microsoft, Kendi served as the general manager of East, West, and Central Africa cluster for Checkpoint Software. Kendi is also the founder of She Goes Tech, an initiative created with the purpose of mentoring young women pursuing STEM careers. This has led her to leading gender inclusion discussions across different forums, including the United Nations General Assembly. So thank you, Kendi, and we welcome you to take the virtual stage. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mudhoni, and good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me clearly. You know, they say a lady should not expose her true age. Well, maybe they have a point, but I have often wondered who set those rules and to whose benefit were they set? According to the 2019 census, it was reported that the average age in Kenya at the time was 19.6 years. Currently, the World Bank reports it to be about 20.1 years. You know, we have professors in the room. So we can safely take those statistics and come to a close estimate and conclude that about 20 years is the average age of the Kenyan population, which, to be fair, is at least 1 year younger than most of you, the students, engaging in this hackathon or in this call today. Why am I talking about age? I'm sure you're wondering. We are here to hack and create solutions. But I want you to understand, you, the student, and even us, the older folks in the corps, I want you to understand the scale of impact the students can have by just choosing to engage. By simply that, if you choose to engage, simply because of where you are, the amount of impact you can have. The same statistics reported that about 60% of the Kenyan population is about 64 years and below. 24 years and below. 0 to 24, 60%. Think about that. That is big. This fact alone, this fact that you are 24 years and below, that you form 60% of our population, this fact alone gives you an advantage I want you to always have at the top of mind. An advantage that by simply existing at such a time as this, because you are there, that you agree, and we agree that it's an advantage that you have. And my question is to you, what will you do with that advantage? You being here for this session, for this hackathon launch, is a start. It is you taking a shot at the hackathon is a great start, because for this generation, your superpower, again, your superpower is understanding your environment, defining the clear problem, which is equivalent to the opportunity, then using technology to tackle it in a scalable manner. So assess your environment, define what that problem is. The problem is always the opportunity. Then using technology to scale. And that is your superpower. At Microsoft, we are committed to working with you. As you know, and if you don't now, you know, we have our development center, which currently employs more than 450 engineers. Engineers who build products for the world. Engineers who are available to you for mentorship. So we are availing ourselves, our resources, our investments so that you can succeed. And all you need to do is show up. We are also committed to developing the talent in the ecosystem. For the same purpose to which this hackathon is being held, this talent will then be tapped by enterprises. Equity will tap you. So if you do well, you do your part, you will be available to Equity. Equity's partners will also be available to you. Microsoft will also work with you. The ecosystem, the world will be ready for you. So please, my plea to you, engage, show up strongly and learn. Make the most of this opportunity that we are availing to you. And when you're done with this hackathon, please search for Microsoft Imagine Cup. And I'll tell you what Microsoft Imagine Cup is. It is a global innovation competition that we hold for student developers around the world. It runs annually. The forum is provided for you, the students, to build and learn together. So from other students around the world, you come together, you learn, you make a difference in your communities, and then we encourage you to innovate for impact. The forum helps you to develop your own skills as part of the journey to helping you prepare for the world and for the future. We have seen, if in Kenya alone, you already represent more than 60% of the population, how about the world? Your peers have engaged previously in the Imagine Cup, in the Microsoft Imagine Cup. Kenyan students who are in universities like yours, who are doing the same courses that you're doing, they went before you, they did it. And as they did it, they came out top globally, which shows you that when you innovate, you tap a market beyond our physical borders. It shows you that when you learn, and what you learn and practice in your universities, of which your VCs are here present, meaning the focus for this. Actually, your VC and your chancellors are also, they are here, they're present. It shows you the focus to which there is. And so what you learn and practice here in Kenya can confidently compete at a global level. If you don't believe me, write this down. Team Reweba, REWEBA. These were the Global Imagine Cup winners for 2021. Team Reweba is a team of Kenyan students from one of our universities here. In their project, They looked at how they could leverage the benefit of IoT, Internet of Things, to reduce the high infant mortality rate brought about by poor access of healthcare in Africa. So they looked at what are they going to resolve. Then they worked out a solution for that using technology. They pitched in and they won. Then that was 2021. Then the year before that, 2020, there was what we call Team Nights. Again, just write them down, then search for them. Team Nights, who developed an autonomous weeding bot using artificial intelligence to discriminate between weeds and crops. Most of us have come from families where we know farmers, and we know how weeds are destroyed. It's through pesticides, which can be harmful to the output, to the produce that comes out. So imagine using technology to eliminate weed. And that is what Team Knights did. And again, just as Team Reweba, they emerged winners. And they did it in 2020. So my challenge is to you. We are in the year 2022, and we are going to 2023. Every year, there is competitions that go around. Kenya has been represented heavily in the global platform. Why not do it for us this year? Because as you innovate, and this time, let it be for the financial services industry, because that is what we are working for. And this can be a start for it. We started with saying women are not supposed to announce their age, or so they say. But yet, this year, I turned 42, which to many of you, especially the students, it sounds ancient. And I agree with you, I'm dated. Because when you think about it, I am twice as old as you are. And yet in the leadership world, I am still considered young. But with the statistics that we have seen, when we look at that, am I really young? And so in 20 years, when you are my age, and I am Dr. Mwangi's current age, okay, fine, maybe give or take 2 years from where he is now, I want you to look back with pride at the difference you will have made to your generation and those behind you. Continue with what you have started. What we are doing now is the start of it. Don't stop. Continue. Do not ask for permission. Demand for your position in the economy by providing solutions to at least, we have seen, 60% of the population who is you and your friends. To let us, the old folk, be the ones who lead you without you actively engaging in these spaces would be a mistake. Tech is your superpower. Please engage. Thank you.
Thank you, Candy, for those wise words that you have imparted on the students, and for them to understand how advantaged they are and the superpower that they also hold. My name is Joyce Kimathi, and I'm co-moderating this session with Muthoni. And next, I would like to invite Professor Stephen Kiama, who's the Vice Chancellor of the University of Nairobi. Professor is the 8th Vice Chancellor of University of Nairobi and holds a doctorate in structural biology from the University of Bern in Switzerland. As Professor Kiama pursued his scholarly and teaching roles, leadership duties seemed to beckon at every turn. It is in delivering these tasks that he gathered broad hands-on skills, practical knowledge, and fundamental proficiencies in key structural, legislative, and regulatory frameworks crucial to the effective management of institutions of higher learning. Prior to his appointment as the 8th Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Kiama served as the Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of Human Resources and Administration and Acting Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of Finance, Planning and Development. The professor has also served in several administrative positions in the university and is here to give us a keynote speech. So Professor Kiama, I want to welcome you to address the participants. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joyce Wajiko Kimathi, for those kind words. I want to acknowledge you. I want to acknowledge all the people who have joined this Equity UN Melo university hackathons. I note you are many who have joined us. I want also to acknowledge the Group Managing Director and CEO of Quick Group Holdings, Dr. James Mwangi, the Vice Chancellor of Meru University, Professor Romanus Odyambo, as well as the County Manager, Microsoft, Ms. Kedi Twiga, and all of you great people who have joined us this afternoon. First, the University of Nairobi signed a collaborative agreement with the Equity Bank. And this, we did it in order to open up new opportunities for collaboration in a number of areas, which includes research, capacity building, boot camps, and the hackathons like we are doing today. The University of Nairobi and the bank signed this agreement with the full knowledge that traditionally there has been a clash of cultures between academia and the industry. As you're all aware, the academia want to just get nice results, get their work published, and in many cases get accolades from colleagues, and also get promoted to the next grade. Whereas, as we understand it, the industry want to look for solutions and make business out of providing those solutions to the community. In the context of today's rapidly changing world, this cultural divide is not the way to go. It's obviously a little wasteful. And it may delay the socio-economic development of a country, of a community. There needs to be an exchange. There needs to be a way of working together. It is incumbent upon us, who are key players in various sectors, to begin to change this approach and to begin to collaborate, to bring the best minds and interface them with the industry. And together we work together and we become stronger. The University of Nairobi, being the oldest university in this country, and where you have a high concentration of great minds, is fully acknowledges this role that it need to play to assist or to facilitate or to characterize the bridging of this gap. It is common knowledge that there has been gaps in the expectations of the industry from fresh graduates in this country. You know very well that the industry people look for those with the right skills, those with right attitudes, those with the appropriate knowledge. I doubt that any graduates that we release possess all these qualities. That is the reason why the University of Nairobi, and also Meru University, which is represented here, the other universities that we hope that will be joining us also, endeavor to develop closer ties with the industry, so that even as we are training, we can work with them. We can bring those from the industry to interface with the students, and we can have students also spend times with the industry to acquire some of these skills that are not with our professors. They are out there with the industry. We believe that through such partnerships, we will provide our students with the relevant platforms and the opportunities for them to develop their skills and harness their full potential as they direct their efforts in the right direction. As you are all aware, the University of Nairobi has the largest concentration of scholars, particularly at the level of the professors when you consider in this whole country, and perhaps concentration of researchers, those who engage daily on various research activities. Some of their findings can bring about very strong economic development in the country if they are commercialized. Commercialization of these research inputs, however, remains unattended to. In full realization of this, the University of Nairobi has developed an IP office under the Division of Research, Innovation and Enterprise as a key pillar in our strategic plan to nurture a culture of innovation in the context of the Kenya Vision 2030. We are looking forward to our industry partners, including the Equity Bank, being open to providing opportunities for creating research modules, giving input in our curricular developments, and creating joint projects for live interaction with our students and our scholars. We will reciprocate by encouraging all our faculty and students to go beyond the classrooms and participate actively in these initiatives. We believe that when we pair our research talents with industry, expertise, and investments, we will accelerate innovation and allow new products to be taken out of our research laboratories and begin to diffuse into the society and change our country and our world and our planet for the better. This way, we will be having our own made in academia products that are unique and relevant to the needs of our society, and perhaps also assist in addressing the huge financial gap that continues to be encountered in many universities. All over the world, a closer collaboration between the industry and academia is yielding fruits. And there are many examples to give on this. You remember recent members, in the wake of the devastating COVID-19 pandemic, University of Oxford and the AstraZeneca PLC collaborated, and they were able to get us out of the hopelessness we were in when we were restricted in the movement because of lack of vaccines. And now you know people can begin to interact because of the work that was done by them and the others. It is my desire that the collaboration we are beginning now with the Equity Bank, as well as the Middle University and the others, we will extend beyond the hackathons. And we are going to enter into commercially viable research products and patents that will continue to assist in expanding our economy as we provide solutions to our people. While our researchers, lecturers, professors are committed deep thinkers, our students have the world at their fingertips. And they too continue to think very big. For example, in our own innovation hub, dubbed the CD4R, which is domiciled in the Faculty of Science and Technology at the Chiromo campus, we have incubated several startups that exemplify the talents of our young people. The QuickTap and the Kiri EF Limited are just but a few examples. QuickTap, for example, employs near-field communication technology, NFC, and radio frequency identification technologies to deliver secure, easy, fast, and efficient payments and access control services for mass companies. These technologies are emerging solutions to making cashless payments for goods and services in a secure and convenient way. The Kiri EF Limited, on the other hand, aims at manufacturing affordable, stylish electric vehicles for the Kenyan and East African market. The motorcycles and scooters are designed to outcompete the incumbent 125cc and 150cc petrol motorcycles on power, durability, and performance. All these, among others, ladies and gentlemen, are products of agility and strength of our students and faculty. And they show that it is possible. When we put our mind and our time into it, it is possible. And I believe that all of you who have joined this hackathon, you are up to the task, and we are looking forward to the very great ideas you will come up with. Me in particular, I look forward to seeing our students enrolled in this hackathon come up with solutions to the problems that will be given by the bank, and in our own way, create what perhaps will be dubbed the University of Nairobi Equity Bank products, providing better solutions for our day-to-day life for Kenyans and making our world, our planet, a better place for all of us. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Professor Kiama, for those words. Indeed, this is just but the beginning of our collaboration to bring the best minds together, and very brilliant ones at that, and who are up to the task to change the country, change the world, and change the planet. As I invite our next speaker, I would just like to request the attendees, please feel free to post any questions in the chat. We are happy to review that and engage with you in that channel. So please feel free to engage with us even as the session is ongoing. So our next speaker is Professor Romanus Odyambo. He has over 26 years progressive experience in academics, research, and leadership, with over 18 years of this in senior leadership positions. Prior to joining Meru University, he served in several substantive administrative leadership positions at Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. Over the years, as a chair of an academic department, a deputy vice chancellor of academic affairs. Professor Odyambo is a member of International Biometrics Society, Kenya Inter-University Association of Mathematics and Computer Scientists, and Specialized Committee of Science Education in East Africa, coordinated by Inter-University Council of East Africa. In his career, he has distinguished himself in organizational development and management aspects such as resource mobilization, fundraising, project management, and leading change. So Professor Odyambo, karibu sana, and I welcome you to address the students.
Thank you very much. Dr. James Mwangi, the group managing director, and also the the Chancellor of Meru University of Science and Technology, Madam Kendi Ndwiga, County Manager, Microsoft Kenya, Professor Stephen Kiama, my colleague and the Vice Chancellor of University of Nairobi, all invited guests, management, the staff, the students of Meru University of Science and Technology, the students of University of Nairobi, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure really to be with you today. And first of all, just to pass my greetings from Meru University of Science and Technology. We are, as a university, very happy and eager to start on this journey that speaks to the future of mankind. We did sign an MOU, just like University of Nairobi, with Equity Bank some time back. And it's really a pleasure to have a meeting today in trying to actualize some of the things that we agreed in that MOU. We are all aware that society faces a lot of challenges. There is social, economic, and environmental, science, innovations, and research, we all aware, do enhance society capacity to act, and therefore presenting numerous opportunities to solve societal challenges. So we are happy to work closely in the tripartite arrangement, Equity, University of Nairobi, the universities and the Microsoft and other people that will join us as we move on. Meru University of Science and Technology understands the importance of broadening our students and faculty scope of mind and skill set by investing resources, the challenging and rewarding experiences such as the Equity Virtual Hackathon. This, ladies and gentlemen, speaks great. If you take a moment just to follow the exploration of the overall role of the innovations in the COVID-19 response, it is very clear that innovation efforts implemented to support the development and the humanitarian responses during the pandemic facilitate lasting solutions to the deeply affected health, social, and economic challenges, as well as to secure society's long-term resilience. This then speaks to the role our institutions play in supporting our economies and deep down the daily lives of our fellow humans. Ladies and gentlemen, Meru University of Science and Technology, that will be 9 years on 1st of March this year, believes in the ever-evolving and promising power that lies within innovations, within research. Technology has made life easier for all of us, and therefore we aim to improve and create lasting solutions through investing in research and innovations and technology. And a testament to our commitment can be realized in the kind of courses that we run in this young university, which is just 9 years old. We specialize in science, technology, and STEM programs, but more serious focus in the last 4 or 5 years in technology. For example, in the last 2 years, we have introduced a course in BSc Data Science and Analytics. Also introduced a course in BSc Computer Security and Forensics, among the many, many relevant issues, trying to learn from the challenges that are affecting the whole world, and how we as a university can really address them. Universities have the pivotal role of accelerating knowledge creation in post-industrial economies and societies in today's world for tomorrow's success. And Meru University of Science and Technology, ladies and gentlemen, leads in research and innovation driven by curiosity and long-term perspective aimed at improving today's and future world. I take this opportunity to applaud our Chancellor, Dr. James Mwangi, for embodying selflessness and commitment to protecting the future by investing in innovations in the youth. Mary University prides itself on the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Center, a home designed to effectively cater the needs of researchers and innovators as they work on the much required solutions. For our Chancellor, we are proud of you. Thank you for the servant leadership that you have continued to display. Again, just 2 weeks ago, I was in the border Kenya, Tanzania. I'm a chair of the board, and they didn't know that Mary University of Science and Technology were associated with you. That I found you had sent there over 1,000 seedlings of trees, and they didn't know the relationship I have with you, and I was also shocked. So this selflessness, which is manifested in you, is what I think you has also inspired many students. And today we have assembled quite a number of my students here just to participate in this, and hopefully they'll also capture that philanthropic, that selfless leadership, and in future really change the world the way, in your small ways, our Chancellor, sir, you have tried to impact and change communities throughout the world. And ladies and gentlemen, Mary University is strategically directed at forming result-oriented linkages with industries. So we are very happy in this tripartite relationship we have, this dialogue we have this afternoon, where we have the bank and we have the Microsoft, and we together, the university, as for now, just like my colleague has said, Mary University of Science and Technology together with Nairobi, and in future perhaps it will be extended to other people, we can start this journey together. The Mask family looks forward to learning and growing with partners, effecting positive lasting change, such as the Microsoft. Mask, that is the Mary University of Science and Technology, is thrilled to be working alongside our fellow like-minded institutions of higher learning, the University of Nairobi. Let's have our faculties and our students learn from one another. Let's have Equity, the Microsoft, and the university working together to solve community and societal problems so that we can make the world better than we found it. As an institution, we believe coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is a progress. And working together is a success. We believe that there is power in working together, that the mutual we gain from the mutual strength of one another, the diversity that come as a result of our diversity. And so I do applaud each and every one of you for choosing to be intentional about promoting innovations. And for our students in Meru University of Science and Technology, and our students in the University of Nairobi, this is an opportunity that you cannot take. Take it seriously, and now let us get the work done and make our world a better place. If you do that as our students, our Chancellor, Dr. James Mwangi, will be a very happy person, and all of us, the industry, the Microsoft, the bank, and everybody will be very happy because we know we're going to grow up to change the world for the better. As I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all a healthy, happy, and productive 2022. May we keep yearning for and working towards being better versions of ourselves. Thank you, and may God bless you. Asanteni sana.
Thank you very much, Professor Romanus. And indeed, we are on a journey to securing long-term resilience for humanity by leveraging on the promising power of technology. Thank you for those words, and we appreciate the time that you've taken. May I remind all the students who are in attendance that we have a Q&A section, and you can post any comments or questions in that section, and we'll be able to address them as we go along, and later on also in the Q&A section. Our next speaker, our keynote speaker, requires no introduction. He's Equity Group's Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer. James holds 5 honorary doctorate degrees in recognition of his positive impact on the Kenyan society. He holds a Bachelor of Commerce degree and is a certified public accountant. He has been honored 3 times with the National Presidential Awards. He has a first-class Chief of the Order of the Burning Spear. He also has the Moran of the Burning Spear and the Head of State Commendation. James has served on the board and advisory. He has served on board and advisory roles in the Global Advisory Council for Visa, the Clinton Global Initiative, the G8 New Alliance for Food Security and Nutrition, the US President Barack Obama's Initiative for Global Development, the G2 Advisory Board of Agriculture and Initiative for Global Development, and the Global Agenda Council for New Economic Thinking of the World Economic Forum from 2003 to 2007. He has also served as the founding chair of Kenya's Vision 2030 from inception of 2007 to 2019. James is a guest lecturer at Stanford, Columbia, MIT, Harvard, IESC, and the Lagos Business School, where Equity Bank business model is actually a case study. Locally, he's the Chancellor for Meru University of Science and Technology and the Chairman of the Health Committee of Kenya COVID-19 Fund Board. It gives me great pleasure to invite you, Dr. James Mwangi, to the virtual stage.
Thank you very much, my colleague Muthoni. Have been very kind and very generous. From the onset, let me recognize our partners, the Vice Chancellor, Nairobi University, Meru University of Science and Technology, and our partner, Microsoft, and our scholars who have been engaged and invited, as well as my colleagues in the group. I just want to say a couple of words, and it was really a great Kedi to hear you talk about being 40. I guess me and Professor Tema, we are 20 years older than you. But I think age is relative. The UN recently increased what was categorized as old age as 80. So you are very, very youthful. And compared to old, which is defined as 80. I think science and modern medicine has given a chance to prolong our life. And so I regard myself as youthful and will only accept to be called old when I turn 80, because that's what the UN thinks. Turning to the subject matter, I then see what an opportunity that the students and the scholars that we are addressing ourselves to have if they will live up to 100, and how much they will see of their contribution to society if they embark on this journey of changing and transforming society, and how much pride one could enjoy over a period of 80 years, seeing the steps they made. Life is like walking on white snow, and every step you make, scholars, shows. Let's start making those steps of innovation today. And 80 years later, we'll be saying when we were 20, this is what we did for humanity. This is our contribution to society. Responsibility doesn't come with age. Responsibility comes with the capability. You have been very well equipped by your professors, and you have the capability and the competence to help change and transform society. Equity Group is more of a creation of innovation. We chose that after the core values of earning trust, that is professionalism and integrity, which helps us to build the currency of any financial sector of trust. The third value that we cherish and prioritize most is creativity and innovation. And we do this because of recognizing, when we look back, the steps that we have made, we have been created by doing things differently, doing things better, and generally saying a culture of creativity and innovation is what has built this bank. I've been very privileged to watch the organization disrupt itself of 3 decades, from Equity 2.0 all the way to today, when we are pursuing Equity 4.0. And every disruption transforms the group in entirety. That is more of a product of innovation. But innovation, unlike what Professor Kema said, that sometimes universities build knowledge for the sake of knowledge, our innovations have always been tailored to solve our customers' problems. We have chosen to be market-driven, and we seek answers from the market. We treat the market as the true north of our sustainability. We believe that if we continue to satisfy the needs of the market at the intersection of quality, affordability, and accessibility, we will continue to be what we have been for the last 30 years. Over those 30 years, we've seen for a period of 20 years, we sustained a 10-fold growth in all the key parameters, whether it's balance sheet, whether it's customer deposits, whether it's loan book, and whether it's profitability. And when we ask ourselves why we were able to sustain a growth that saw us move from being ranked number 66 out of 66 to become Kenya's largest bank, so moving from number 6 to number 66 to number 1, and becoming East and Central Africa's largest bank, number 1 out of 560 banks, the answer lies that we always connect to the market, and we connect to the market through an innovative culture. And so we felt that we could use that power of knowledge, of understanding the market. And the market here, I mean 16.4 million customers who come to our well or fountain to consume our products and services. That market is really significant because for us it has built an asset base of 1.3 trillion shillings. 1.3 trillion shillings is equal to 13% of the entire GDP of Kenya, and is 4 times the size of Burundi as a country. That tells you how much these innovations have been able to bring, but more importantly, what an opportunity there is for innovators if we can use that customer base as a marketplace. And it's on this basis then we also looked back and said, it is not just that we grew in size, but also in quality and global recognition. In 2007, during the G8 summit in Germany, we won the recognition and the award of the Global Vision Award. The caption on the award was "Initiators of the Concept of the Future that will change the global economy." We had created a business model, which today, at that time, I didn't fully comprehend and appreciate. But it was a model that focused on shared prosperity. It was a model that ensured it had a twin engine, an economic and a social engine that allowed inclusion in everything we do. Today, the world is saying purpose first, inclusion, and shared prosperity. Those are things Equity discovered and started doing 30 years ago. And then that is the innovation that made Equity very relevant, connect with the population, and continue to emerge and grow exponentially. Over the last 2 years, where everybody has feared the environment because of COVID, Equity has doubled from a 660 billion asset bank to a 1.3 trillion shillings asset bank. While everybody was saying the economy has shrunk, growth has moved from 5.8% to 0.2 The Kenyan economy has lost $10 billion of its size. Equity has doubled over that period. When we ask ourselves what really provides these answers, we realized that like digitization, COVID acted as a tailwind to our digitization. And digitization happened to have given people comfort in an environment where the emphasis was working from home, social distancing, and not touching services. So people chose digital banking. And we ended up with 98% of all our transactions happening on digital platforms. The latest of the awards is seeing Equity named among the top Bloomberg 50, named by Financial Times among the top 50 in the world, winning the Oslo Business for Peace Award or the Nobel Prize of Business, and this year, most importantly, winning the coveted fifth position of the best financial brand on earth. All those are because we have chosen to do things differently. And when you do things differently, then it demonstrates creativity and change, which are really an expressions of innovation. And we are glad that today, inspired by our background and experience, we thought we could team up together with three great institutions and see whether we can scale the lessons we have learned. We feel we have an understanding of the industry, we have an understanding of the marketplace. The universities have a better grasp of knowledge through research, finding solutions, breakthrough innovations, and Microsoft has a global capability in technology, and technology should be a big enabler to whatever we wish to do. And together, each of us bringing their capabilities and competencies, we try to tackle Africa's problem. This partnership has been brought through when Equity is rolling out a $6 billion funded Marshall Plan to try and transform Africa through what is being called post-COVID resilience and transformation plan through accelerated economic growth. And that growth is private sector driven, identifying 5 million entrepreneurs, giving them loans of up to 600 billion shillings, and hoping each of them will create 10 jobs. And the process, hopefully, will create 50 million jobs. That transformation of Africa through Equity's post-COVID recovery and resilient plan will require the industry to do things differently. And we believe we have the capability to point our two universities, partner universities, to the challenges of the 5 million businesses and say, this is the challenge, and we hope you could match it with a solution. And we shall want to be then midwife of those collaborations between the universities and the private sector in the hope that we can midwife jointly the transformation of our continent. I've been privileged to be in industry for quite some time. Unlike Kedi, the year 2000, if you look at the Fortune 500, the top 10 companies were all from the manufacturing sector. Today, you will hardly find a manufacturing company in the top 10 Fortune 500 companies. They are all technology companies that didn't exist in the year 2000. They are a creation of creativity and innovation, and particularly in the technology space. And that is what we see, and that is why Microsoft is very central to us. That is why we have anchored our collaboration and partnership through our ICT division, so that technology becomes an enabler. Looking at back, Equity would not have been able to serve 16.4 million customers on the brick and mortar branches and ATMs. But using the convergence of the banking industry and the mobile, the telecom industry, we have been able to convert the mobile devices as hosts of banking services, and customers can serve themselves on a self-service platform, enabling us to compress both geography and time, and removing those two factors from banking. So what we are really looking for, Professor Kema and Professor Odyambo, is that sweet spot where academia and industry converge. And we have, Professor Kema, you have just given us the example of London that led to the production of the AstraZeneca vaccine. That was just an identified challenge, and within 2 years, innovation and creativity of collaboration between industry and academia had provided a solution. Now, we in Africa are very lucky that we may be called whatever name people may wish to call us, that defines and describes challenges. But for our generation, challenges are the greatest opportunity we could have, because the law of a human being is then to confront and dominate his world. He cannot dominate his world without the challenges, overcoming the challenges. So then those are the challenges that we want to focus on and see what, as a generation, we could be able to do. The good thing is that we are not pioneers. All that we are saying is we are following footsteps of those who have done before. I strongly believe that the Silicon Valley is a sweet spot created by Stanford University and Berkeley University, among other universities, and the technology sector in California. And that then has led the Silicon Valley to be the creator of most of the greatest development of our times. So we hope that Nairobi will midwife this ecosystem and cluster emerging in Nairobi, and hopefully then, having been chairman of Vision 2030, I know we have our Savannah Silicon Valley, which is barely a few kilometers away from us, and we can then be able to put that effort in a geographical space where collaboration could then take root. Truly, I believe the challenge of our generation is to ensure that we don't bequeath the challenges of Africa to the next and future generations. We will have failed if we then just watch challenges, and we have education and we have lessons from all over the world, and yet we don't rise to the challenges. This is what has informed Equity to bring together three great institutions. I'm very, very privileged myself to lead it with the two institutions. At the bank, entire group, we use Microsoft solutions. I call Nairobi University my alma mater university. The chairman of the board, Professor Masharia, is still an active professor of medicine there. Our chairman of cyber risk and ICT is a professor of IT at the University of Nairobi. And we also have a professor in the Department of Education in our insurance business. So it's more of a collaboration. And we have picked those three professors from the University of Nairobi because we want knowledge to challenge practice. And that has enabled us to have very healthy debates. And it's those healthy debates that happens in the boardrooms that we want to bring in the open and say, can they be the debates of the students? Instead of debating politics, let's debate innovations, let's debate creativity, let's debate solutions to our African challenges. I'm also very privileged, as Professor Odyambo said, to be the Chancellor of Meru University of Science. And out of the belief that innovations are the ways to go and the right solution to Africa's challenge, my family granted the $1 million grant. And I get very excited every time I move to see Meru and see how the Innovation Center has been put to use. But I see that it's maybe only used 15%. So I see an opportunity here that through these hackathons and collaborations, and where equity brings tangible challenges to the students, to provide students, that Innovation Center may achieve 100% utilization. Then maybe we could look at other ways of moving that to the next level. Equity is role and responsibility beyond bringing market the knowledge from demand. We think then that will be met by the knowledge supply from the universities. And we hope we'll see sparks where demand and supply meet. And the essence of equity then is to ensure that the market needs, the challenges of the market, because it's the needs are solutions to the challenges that confront the market, are very well understood by the universities. And we have endeavored this by most of us seeking to reach up to doctorate level in terms of studying, so that we really appreciate research and how to go around problem solving. And so that is purely our simple role. And then the two universities will then guide us, bring on board the normal students. As we understand the concept, we hope we'll be able to bring on board our 40 million wings to fly scholars as they get to the universities. About 20,000 have been able to finish and join the universities, but another 20,000, 22,000 precise, as they finish, we shall channel them here, because we believe this is a big opportunity requiring enormous skills and capability. So lastly, let me say that we will incentivize and we'll seek the support of Microsoft to ensure that we have mechanisms of helping the innovators, one, to register and to patent their innovations, the intellectual property rights. We'll try to provide them with legal services. We'll provide them with mentoring and coaching, as Lanre said, to commercialize their ideas. And where they opt to sell them, we'll try to help them to sell them at the right price, to recognize their true value. But the biggest opportunity we have is to put our 16.4 million customers to the disposal of the innovators. And I hope by the time we are completing the hackathon, the marketplace learner will be available to the students, and we can then interact with the customers allowed there. And essentially, equity would also be a good market, buying solutions that we believe address the challenges that we are confronting. As we usher into this hackathon, we have identified the 3 areas that are of great challenge to us. 3 areas that we think if we are provided solutions to, would be able to buy, and that is payments, financial inclusion, and digital identity as a service. So we will not have hackathon on the theoretical frameworks. We'll have hackathons based on practical challenges, and if the innovations are good enough, then there are solutions to the marketplace. We'll also build trust and confidence, and then as students become more knowledgeable, we'll expose all our APIs to them, and they can also bring their own solutions and plug and play on the capabilities of our system. I want to wish you all well and say I will support you, I will champion this cause, and I will ensure that everything that Equity could do to make this happen will be available and will be at your disposal. Once again, I wish you well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. James. And indeed, the challenges that we have as a society are our greatest opportunity. And that's when innovators come into play because they can innovate around those challenges. And we should, I like what you said about encouraging the debate around innovation, because innovation is the underlying solution to all of Africa's problems. So based on the background that you've given, Dr. James, we really look forward to seeing what the students are able to come out with from this hackathon. In this next section of this event, I shall invite Dennis Volemi, who is our CIO for Telco and Convergence, and he will be leading a panel discussion with the topic Growing Your Skill Set. So welcome, Dennis.
Thank you so much, Modoni. And welcome to the webinar attendees. My name is, as introduced, as Dennis Volemi. I'm a CIO responsible for partnerships with telcos and fintechs. I'll be leading this panel discussion. I have exciting panelists that will join to address some of the questions that have come up that we think are relevant to yourselves. It will also be open to any questions that you will come through. So my colleagues will be monitoring that channel, and my colleagues will be monitoring that channel, and they'll flag the questions as they come through. Before we get into the introduction of the panelists, I'd just like to buttress one point that Dr. James said. Usually, there's a lot of great innovation that comes out of fusion of academia and industry. And just to buttress, the actual founders of Silicon Valley were Frederick Terman, who was a professor at Stanford University, with William Shockley, who was an engineer from Bell Labs, who was part of the co-inventors of the first transistor. So as we start on this journey, we believe that our partnerships with Microsoft and the universities of Nairobi and Mary University would lead to the next frontier of fintech in Africa, beginning here in Kenya. So my panelists, I'll introduce them quickly. The first panelist is Professor Timothy Wyman. Professor Timothy Wyman is a professor of information systems in the School of Computing and Informatics at the University of Nairobi. He holds a PhD degree in strategic management of information systems from the University of Cambridge in the UK. He also holds a Bachelor's of Honours degree in electrical and electronics engineering from the University of Bath in the UK. Professor Wyman has carried extensive research in many aspects of information systems and technologies. He's also an extensive IT consultant. He has extensive IT consultancy experience spanning over 30 years. Professor Wyman is additionally the chairman of the IT and Innovation Board of the Equity Group. Professor Wyman, if you could just say hello to the attendees.
Hello everyone. I hope you can be able to see me and hear me.
Yes.
This is me. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Professor Wyman. The next panelist is Dr. Amos Odyambo. Dr. Amos Odyambo is a doctor at the Mary University of Science and Technology. He's the Director of Research and Development there. He has extensive research and teaching experience in the areas of software engineering, networking, databases, programming, and security. He has over 20 years of experience in system engineering, research, and systems development in industry. Currently, the doctor is researching on he has specific interest in systems dynamics, cryptography, and information security, and digital forensics. Dr. Omamo, if you could say hi to the attendees, please.
Hello, Dennis. Thank you for having me here. It's good to be in this environment. And hello to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Omamo. Next, we have Landre Bamisebi. Landre is a seasoned IT professional with over 20 years experience in management. He works in the information system sector, spans across consulting, telecom, oil, gas, banking, and fintech. Prior to joining Equity as the Group Director of IT and Operations, and also the Managing Director of FinServ, Landre was a CIO at Access Bank. Notable projects that Landre has worked on include the design and conceptualization of an omni-channel, a mobile app, a chatbot that became the best in class, and this is currently being used in one of the largest retail banks in West Africa. He holds a BSc degree in accounting, in computing and information technology from the University of Derby in the UK, a master's in business administration from Durham Business School in the UK. He's also currently studying a PhD at USIU. Landre, if you could say hi to the attendees, please.
Thank you for the introduction, Dennis, and to the attendants, thank you very much for joining the hackathon, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Lastly, we have Irene Gidinji. Irene Gidinji is a program manager of higher education engagements at Microsoft ADC. ADC stands for Africa Development Center. Irene is an IT integration, is an expert in IT integration and an advisor who partners with ministries of education, academic institutions, and academia in digital transformation through various initiatives and skilling programs under Microsoft. She has over 7 years experience in both public and private. Irene has experience in management, consulting, team building, professional development, strategic implementation, and collaboration between companies. Her notable achievements include driving strategic end-to-end implementation of IT programs in K-12 across Rwanda and Kenya. She's a positive individual who's passionate about girls and women in STEM and nurturing young minds in technology. Irene holds a bachelor's degree in development studies. Irene, if you could kindly say hi to the attendees.
Good afternoon, everyone, and it's a pleasure being here today. Thank you.
Good. So we'll get into the questions quickly. My first set of questions goes to Landre. First, Landre, in the context of this conversation, we have over 150 attendees here from the universities who are very keen in growing their skills. If you could really speak to them about what we mean by growing your skill sets.
Thank you very much, Dennis, and to the attendees, students, and those who are no longer students who are listening to us. Growing your career, it's actually, I've been in interviews where the applicant will ask me, what are your development strategy for the bank? And I will be like, okay, we do this and that and all that. However, when it comes to development, it's actually your responsibility as a student or as an applicant. You need to be able to have set goals and milestones. One of the things that I used to do when I was younger was to look up for people who I think I want to aspire to be like. We'll look at them, go on LinkedIn, see what they do, see the kind of course they study, see the kind of certification that they've got. Then I would, I would start on a trajectory to meet those certifications. Then I would look at jobs that I wanted to do. So, for example, when I was younger in my career, I wanted to be an enterprise architect. And so what I did back then, in Africa, there weren't so many. So I checked online. I saw a guy who was an enterprise architect for a very big organization, a bank in the UK, and another one in the US. So I contacted them and asked if they could be my mentor, and they both aligned. And on a Friday regularly, I would meet with them. They would talk to me and tell me what I need to do to become a better architect. And guess what? Actually, was paying them per hour. So in terms of growing your career, you need to invest on yourself. And there are two types. You need to invest on your educational career and also the skill set in the area you're trying to know. And of course, as you grow, you also need to invest in other soft skills like management, ethical management. Some don't know what that is. It's about you doing the right thing and understanding the difference between the right and wrong. It might not be a problem now, but as you go in your career, it becomes something important. And lastly, you need to understand what we call emotional intelligence. You need to continue to build this. That when people say yes to you, sometimes they actually mean no. You need to be able to correlate the difference between the two. So those are some of the things I've been doing to grow my career. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you, Landre. If you could speak to us in the context of both your academic or any professional training courses, what are those things that had the highest impact in terms of growing you and keeping you up to speeds that enable you to get to where you have gotten?
All right, thank you very much. So I started my career with a BSc in accounting. Then I did accounting for a while. Then I realized that IT was it for me, so I went back to school. I did BSc in accounting, and I'm sorry, in computer science. Then I always read. I see what is happening in the industry. I tend to look at magazines and see the trend in technology. Webinars like this are also very important. You listen to what subject experts are talking about in the different arenas. You understand what the trends are. So, for example, these days the trend is around blockchain, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. You hear those words. You make sure you back yourself in understanding what they're about. YouTube is there. When we're growing up, we didn't have YouTube, but now there's YouTube. You can just search on any topic, and you will hear very sound mind experts telling you stuff around those subjects. So those are some of the things that I've done in terms of what has the most impact. When I started my career, I've always wanted to be a CIO because I'm an IT student. So what I did was I would look at what it takes to be a CIO, and I worked towards it. And at some point, I became the CIO of one of the largest banks in Africa, that's the UBA, at a very young age, I might say. And I did that role for a very long time, maybe for about 3 years. Then I moved to another bank, at Diamond Bank. So for me, it's all about. So for now, if what I want to do is to become a CEO, I'll look at my direct boss right now, who is Dr. James Wengi, and who better to learn from, but to learn from such a person. And also in terms of your skill, you continue to upskill. I've said to my colleagues every time that every year I try to do 2 certifications. So if you look at the number of years that I've done, that will tell you the number of certifications that I have, over 40 of them. So there is a lot of certification. Even last year, despite COVID, I still did 2 certifications. I do programs with Watford, Harvard, short courses, just to keep yourself abreast of what is happening in technology. And also, I've done almost all the certification in ISO 20000, 27001, and lately I'm doing my PhD just to make sure that I continue to understand what is happening and trending in the innovative and business world. Thank you, Dennis.
Thanks, Landre. That's quite inspiring. Irene, moving over to you. If you could talk to us about your education background and how that prepared you for your role today. Also, it would be interesting to learn whether you are currently practicing in a field that you studied.
Okay, thank you, Dennis, for that question. So my education background is actually not tech related. While in university, I I did a Bachelor of Arts degree in Development Studies. So my goal was always to either work in the UN or in any international governmental organization. So that was the path that I had created for myself. And it's what I studied as part of my my undergraduate.
Did we just lose Irene? Professor Emma, can you hear me?
I think Professor
Professor, Professor, can you hear me?
Can you hear me, Dennis?
Yes, I can hear you.
I can't hear.
It looks like we've lost. Can you hear us?
I think we have lost Irene.
Okay, good. So let's keep quickly. My colleagues will try to find Irene back. So let's move to you, Prof. We have a lot of students on the call, and they're probably wondering the importance of setting goals and whether this is a practice that you as an individual undertook and you continuously undertake. So if you could speak to us the importance of goal setting from an individual perspective, and whether this is something that you practice.
Thank you very much, Dennis. Yes, let me start with the importance of setting goals. And here by goals, I don't just talk about goals. We also talk about the tactics of achieving those goals, and when you will execute those tactics. It is important to have not only the goals but the tactics and the time.